Thank you. Yeah. Okay. Who's ready for some lusty, busty comedy? From me. I got it all. I'm a little nervous. I think you can tell because I decided to wear the sheerest shirt I own in a 72-degree room. That's all it takes for you to know how I'm feeling. So glad everyone made it here, mostly because no one can ever find this building that we're in. Sometimes I come here and I wonder if I'm actually just like, if it's a Shining situation where it hasn't been here for 50 years. That's always the model for like a ghost story, that the building hasn't been there for 50 years or everyone's been dead for 50 years. I think ghost stories are on the way out. I do. Society's changing a lot. Gay marriage is legal. Ghost stories on the way out. Two things that are changing. And I think this because those stories work because the past was really spooky. Like in the past, you used to just prop your dead relatives up on your knee for a family portrait because it was so hard to get a picture. But soon, 50 years ago, is going to be the 90s. There's nothing creepy about the 90s. It was 50 years ago tonight that Richard Linklater released Slacker on VHS. Doesn't work. Does not hold up. Big Linklater crowd? Do we love Linklater? Yeah! Woo! This is good. I'm happy to be here. Despite my choice of shirt, I wish I would have picked a different shirt. I have a hard time dressing because my body type is an enigma. It's an urban legend in the tailoring community. I had to get fitted for a suit recently, and I walked in, and the woman looked at me and said, "The prophecy! He has the legs of a boy and the torso of a bigger boy." I actually found my Dare shirt recently from when I graduated Dare in 5th grade. It still fits me, turns out. Which on one hand I was very happy because that means I'm the same size as I was in 5th grade. Flip side, when I was in 5th grade, I was the size of a 23-year-old man with a weight problem. I'm hoping to begin coming, I don't know. I want to lose weight, but it's not so much about losing weight as it is just like committing to a lifestyle. Because I'm only kind of fat, so I either need to get thin or real fat. Either way. I either need to get so thin that I could conceivably be in a punk rock band, because right now I'm at like metal weight at best. Metal's just punk for fat kids. That's all metal's ever been. Or I need to get so fat that you look at me and you're like, that guy could have been a corrupt politician in the 1800s. Or I need to get so fat that a good guy could punch me in the stomach and I'd go, oh ha 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 ha, oh ha 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 ha. And then while I'm distracted by my sure victory, he just kicks me between the legs and goes on to the next bad guy. We got a great show for you tonight. I mean it. I'm not even just fooling anymore. I know I've told a lot of jokes. The buck stops here. This is gonna be a great show. Are you guys ready for your first comedian? Cool. Shut up so I can introduce him. This guy, he's a dear friend. He's super funny. He was on my podcast recently where we talked about, well, not me, but I wasn't there for this episode, but Mark's podcast, you met Mark, he talked about comic books and the like. He's very funny, man. Please give it up for Angelo Gingerelli.
Appreciate it, Dan. I'm super excited to be here tonight. I love doing comedy in pizzerias because my name's Angelo Gingerelli, and it creates problems because my name is like super off the boat, authentic Italian, but my family is like Pizza Hut, Olive Garden Italian. like, we're not mad we're Italian, we're just not really that into it. And like, it was never for me. Like, I never took steroids. I never shaved my chest. I never wore tank tops in places where it's not socially acceptable to wear tank tops. I never had that crazy Sonic the Hedgehog Dragon Ball Z haircut. Looking back, maybe I should have, because that ship has sailed, but I never went for it. And as you guys can see, as I point to my bald head, for the ladies, try to contain your disappointment, but I am married. I'm married to a woman that's 100% Cuban. I'm 100% Italian. So that means a couple things. It means when regular white people meet us, they don't like us, but can't quite put their finger on why. It means every time we're standing outside a family function, one of my uncles throws her his keys and says, "Don't bang up the Benz." And it means I spend a lot of time in my house trying not to get cut. Because if you ever messed with a Spanish girl before, you know it's only a matter of time until the knives come out. And we got married 3 years ago, had a great wedding, everybody came, all our families got together, and a lot of people gave toast and prayers and speeches, and they all had the same theme. God brought these two together, God's watching down on this marriage, thank God these two people found each other. And I was sitting there thinking, we met in Seaside. I'm pretty sure God sat that one out. And we were married for 3 years. 6 weeks ago, we had our first child, a beautiful baby girl. You got to clap for that. You got to clap for that. And it was cool when we found out she was pregnant. We told everybody. And we were like, "Oh man, that's awesome! If you have a boy, you're gonna make him play sports, like football, basketball, ice hockey." And I had the same answer to everybody. Look at me. My wife is a petite Hispanic woman. Our child's not playing football. The most we can hope for is a horse jockey or a lucha libre wrestler. And now I go home every night from work and I look in my daughter's eyes and she's so pretty and so precious and just gonna have I hope I have a great life. And I just think the countdown starts now. The countdown to when I see people you may know on Facebook and it's my daughter in her underwear. And I'm gonna think to myself, what the hell was she thinking when she picked this filter? We are so much better than that as a family. I've been married for 3 years, our third wedding anniversary just passed, and my wife was cool enough to buy me as a gift the entire series of Breaking Bad on DVD. You guys like Breaking Bad? Okay, we've both made bad decisions in our life. We can't afford cable, so we've never seen it before. And her being Hispanic doesn't know that streaming media is a thing, so she came home with like 75 DVDs of these guys cooking meth. And we watched them all already in the summer. And who's married in here? Okay, you guys tell me if I'm right. Everybody else, just heed this warning, particularly the guys. Breaking Bad is the perfect anniversary gift because it's just like marriage. Think about Walter White. He has terminal, inoperable lung cancer. He has no money. He's broke. He spends all day cooking meth with a functioning retard in the middle of the desert. And still, the biggest problem in this poor guy's life is his wife. Thank you very much.
Keep it going for Angela, please. It took me a second to get up here. Cover the gap with noise. And also, now, you're going to have to keep it going for your next comedian, Alyssa Stevenson.
How's everyone doing? I'm pretty nervous, I'm not gonna lie. I have a lot of anxiety lately. I feel like my iPhone's ruining my life. I started driving with a stress ball, so I just squeeze that instead of like texting while driving and getting stressed. It's crazy, like I used to write a lot and I'd have this big indent on my writing finger from a pen. And now I have like this big indent on my pinky from an iPhone. And like every time I look at it, I'm like, there's a little memorial to Steve Jobs. A little grave in my pinky just for him. It's in heaven now. Because the iPhone's really great. Yeah, so I've had a lot of anxiety lately. I feel like I'm going through like an identity crisis. I haven't done comedy like in a month because I just moved out. And I'm stunned being on my own. Luckily, I work in a restaurant, so there's scraps. I literally developed an ulcer from gathering money like a crackhead for rent. Luckily, my dad was a crackhead, so I got some good genes. You're you dig in your car under every seat, and you're 15 cents closer to security deposit. Safety deposit, too. So that ulcer's gonna be a pain in the ass when I don't have health care next year because I can't be on my mom's plan. But yeah, so I called my dad because he texted me and I was drunk, so I answered. I was like, you called me at a vulnerable state. You're just a cesspool for jokes, so I can't help but talk to you. So he's like, it sounds like you're getting really serious, that you're moving out with your boyfriend. I was like, yeah, I guess. He's a born-again Christian, though. So he's like, it really does sound really serious, like you're going to get married. I was like, well, if we're seriously talking about a wedding, when I seriously think about one, I'm walking down the aisle to the Darth Vader theme, sitting on my grandma's jazzy, on her lap, of course, doing the Miss America wave. And at the very end, Bruce Buffer's there, and he's just like, who's ready to get married? And I was like, yeah, I am really serious, and $100 isn't gonna cut it next time. So that's all for my daddy issues tonight. I'm gonna turn it back over to Dan. Thanks for everyone coming out.
Alyssa Stevenson, everyone. I'm not gonna do the rest of the show in this voice, I promise. Coming up next to the mic. Coming up next to the microphone. He's a dear friend. You may remember him from a few minutes ago before the show when he spoke to you all. This is the very funny Mark Henley, everyone.
Our host, Dan, does this thing where you go to shake his hand and he puts two fingers out. And every time he does it, I kind of want to punch him. Just right in his face. Just again and again. He likes it, though. He likes the back and forth. Guys, are there any, we tell some jokes. Are there any Hulkamaniacs out there tonight? Hulk Hogan, you guys like him? No, not anymore. Hulk Hogan's a racist now. Did you hear about that? He doesn't like other people. Just doesn't like them. You know how we know he's a racist? They caught him on audio saying, "I am a racist." Usually you don't get that type of confirmation. Paula Deen, she threw a slavery-themed wedding and then apologized afterwards going, "I don't know." And some people believed her. But Hulk Hogan saying, "I am a racist," you're like, well, he said it. I guess he's just like, I'm a racist, brother. I wish it wasn't true, but I guess I'm the heel in this situation after all. I was shocked, though. I was shocked. I shouldn't have been, though, because he spent decades playing a character that beat up evil immigrants. You'd think that maybe the guy that spent decades beating up the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov wouldn't have screwed up views on race, but turns out he does. Guys, I work in an office. I work with a bunch of people that are idiots. They're stupid. The other day, they were all trying to figure out who ran against Obama in the last election. 5 adults couldn't remember Mitt Romney. And when I told them it was Mitt Romney, they were like, "You Googled it." No one else. How else could you have such knowledge? The one guy, he made a t-shirt company. He calls it Lit. L-I-T. Has Lit on the shirt. Lit is the name of a band from the 90s. And he's just selling unauthorized Lit merchandise and has no idea. And we try to tell him that. He goes, "They're going to have to talk to me." And I'm like, "They will. They're going to sue you." I hope he changes it, though. I hope he changes it to another band and has no idea. I hope he comes out a couple of weeks and he's like, "Guys, I got a new name for my clothing company. Marcy Playground." My daughter's name is Marcy. She loves slides. 2 weeks later, he's like, that's a band too. Comes in another few weeks. New t-shirt company, James Brown. James is a great name. Brown's my favorite color. That's my new t-shirt company. I was talking to this girl the other day there at work, and she said that she used to live in Manasquan, but she had to move out because it was too ghetto. Manasquan is a beach town full of $5 million houses. That's almost all of them have water views. This is too ghetto for her. And I was like, how, it was too ghetto? Like, what happened? She goes, oh yes, too many bugs. Too many bugs. I lived in East Harlem for a year. Was that what the problems we were having? Was it the too many bugs around? I feel like rap music would be way different if the problem with ghettos was that there were too many bugs. I feel like they'd all just be about like, you know, Today Was a Good Day by Ice Cube would just be about the day he found a citronella candle. Rapping about how he got a good radius around him where he doesn't have bugs. But I liked living in East Harlem. It was fun. I solved a mystery when I was there. A mystery. I noticed when I was living in East Harlem there were a lot of three-legged dogs. There were more three-legged dogs in East Harlem than I'd seen in my entire life. And I was like, what's up with all these dogs? Are there landmines around here? Are they being caught stealing? They've got to pay the price? What's up with all these dogs? And then it turns out that it was one dog walked by like 3 different people. It's not an exciting story, but it is oddly interesting. And it was a mystery that I solved, and I'm very proud of that. Thank you.
Mark Henley! Coming up next to the microphone, I'm just gonna keep it moving right along, guys. Coming up next to the microphone, very funny man, it's Robert Smedberg.
Hello. Mark was funny. That was pretty funny. How are you people feeling generally about your lives? Pretty good? I'm feeling pretty good. I like my life right now. I think I'm slowly becoming a man. I parallel parked the other day. That's pretty good. That's like the most manly thing I've ever done. I parallel parked and I had an orgasm while standing. That's a man thing to do. I don't know, standing orgasm? Come on. It's impressive. I don't know. I think I'm maturing too because of my view on the way I handle commercials now. I used to really hate commercials. I just found them annoying and kind of a cheap way to get me to buy consumerism, you know? But the way I view commercials now is kind of like how art was back in like medieval times. You know, like the church would sanction an artist to do, like the Sistine Chapel. Like that wasn't because he wanted to paint that, like he got paid by church to do that. But now instead of the Sistine Chapel, it's like we get a Snickers commercial with Mr. T, you know? Well, it's pretty good. Geez, I watch a lot of TV. Like TV is so depressing though. I don't know, like the new, like that bombing in Bangkok. Don't terrorists know we'll never really be afraid of them if they keep bombing cities with funny names? It's like 30 people dead in a car bomb in Lake Titicaca, you know? Like, that doesn't really strike fear into my heart, Mr. Terrorist. Man, I think like, I feel good about society though. I like where we're at as a society. I think we're going good places. I think we're at the cusp of a new age, kind of like we're at the beginning of a new stage of like I think we need to rethink the whole economy. We need to rethink the way we do things, like working, like jobs. Like, why is it so good to do something? Maybe we should pay people not to do things. Like we should pay certain people not to go out. Like I should be able to call up Applebee's on a Friday night and be like, hey, it's about 10 o'clock. Me and my loser friends are thinking about coming out. We're going to creep out every girl in the bar, and everyone's going to leave a half hour earlier than they would. What do you got for us? And they're like, we'll give you $60. You know, then I call Fridays. I'm like, hey, Applebee's offered me $60, and I'll come there. What do you got for me? Then I start a bidding war. That's a whole new economy I got going there. Yeah, all right. I'm done. Have a good night.
Give it up for the elusive Robert Smedberg. In and out, one and done. I love it. The weirdest heckle I've ever gotten. Been doing stand-up for a while now. No one's ever tried to get me with a sneeze. I'm a little worried about how the show's going to continue going because I know a lot of the people here. So if I do get heckled, it's probably going to be very personal. Like, talk about your weird relationship with your dad, Dan. No, this is a fun show. All right, let's keep it going. Oh God, guys. Oh wow, this is bad because we're taping it. Who's up next? Rob just went on that list. Jack, you good? Ladies and gentlemen, I love this man so much. I love him so much. More than anyone else who's come up tonight loves him. Please give it up for the incomparable Jack Steiger.
Thank you. How you guys doing? Good. I'm really strung out on coffee. I've been drinking coffee. I'm new to coffee, so like for me, it's like just a new thing. It's just like I'm just substance abusing coffee. It's amazing, and I'm like trying to balance it out with some beers. So like my heart's being pulled in like two different directions, and like that sentence is kind of darkly poetic, but medically speaking, it doesn't sound very sound. I like Robert Smedberg. You guys like Robert Smedberg? Yeah. I'm not pandering for applause. I get self-conscious following him because he's, very political. I tried to like get into the news. Like I tried like getting more up on contemporary affairs. And it made me feel bad about how out of touch I am because like, until 3 weeks ago, I thought ISIS was a band. Then I saw one of their music videos and I realized there's something completely different. I had a really weird day today. I was pulling out of my driveway, and I was distracted, so I almost hit this car that was slightly in the way of my driveway. Like almost. I didn't hit it, but I almost hit it. And I was really worked up. I'm like, wow, I almost hit that car. I really have to be more careful. And I got so worked up with guilt that I decided to go back in the driveway and hit the car. Because I felt bad about getting away with no consequences. Because I do things like that a lot. Like one time I called out of work, and then I just showed up anyway. 'Cause that's the type of person I am. I'm a really anxious person. Anybody here get anxiety attacks? Yeah. I've been getting them. Mine are kind of like based on like I'm worried that something bad is going to happen to me, like health-wise. Like I'm worried that I have like something catastrophically wrong with my health, and it's just so I think I have like weird medical conditions, and apparently that's called hypochondria, So like it's either I have hypochondria or I'm actually pregnant. But I get anxious over really stupid stuff. Like last night I couldn't sleep because I realized that one day I'm going to have to attempt parallel parking. Like I'm just not going to get around it like I have thus far. I've been making some changes in my life. Like I'm really into like dieting and exercise nowadays, and the thing about that is like I feel like I'm really neurotic about that stuff. Like I'll like give up very easily. Like I'll go like 6 weeks of like consistent dieting and exercise, and then like if I have like one donut, I'm like, well, I guess I'm back on drugs. I made another change is that I'm no longer going to wear nice clothes. Because I feel like me wearing nice clothes is just me lying. Like it's just false advertising. There's no reason for me to be wearing nice clothes. Like me wearing nice clothes is like if I gave you like a box that says PlayStation 4 on it, and then you open it and there's a feral raccoon inside which attacks you. Anyway, I'm Jack Steiger. Thank you.
Jack Steiger. Wonderful young man. I feel like I also can't wear nice clothes because when I do because of the way I'm proportioned, I look like a baby going to get like his yearly picture taken to chart his growth in front of a giant letter block. All right, are you guys ready for your last comic of the night? No, you're not, but it's that time, so stop being difficult. Okay? This next guy, this last guy, he's wonderful. He's just wonderful. Okay, I'll stop. He wants me to stop. Okay, he's got piercing blue eyes, cold as ice, willing to sacrifice our love, but he doesn't out of the goodness of his heart. He's got some fun tattoos, so while he's telling his jokes, don't so much listen to the jokes as try to spot each of the tattoos and figure out what each of their significance could be. And until that time, give it up for J.C. Hendricks.
Hello, my lovelies. How are we all? Everyone good and stuff? Yep. All right. Yeah, speaking of my tattoos, I have a Macho Man Randy Savage tattoo. And, thank you. I'm happy I went with Macho Man because Hulk Hogan was my second choice. And, yeah, the thing is, if you asked me, like, hey, is Hulk Hogan a racist? I would have been like, sure. So, like, it's not really a surprise at all. I mean, it's a bummer, but it's also not really a surprise at all. Also, I'm happy I got a Macho Man tattoo because it's going to tie in really nicely with my Slim Jim's chest piece. Someone told me today that hi. Kind of being filmed here, so. No, when you're done. No, so you can stop now, thanks. What was I? Doesn't any of this matter anymore? Someone told me today that I look like Haley Joel Osment, but like now. I don't know if you've seen Haley Joel Osment recently, but it's not a compliment. He is not cute anymore. Oh, Christ, I gotta take a bath. I met Rev Run recently. That's pretty neat, right? It's not as cool when you find out. All I could think to say to him was, hey man, love your show. Yeah, meeting Rev Run and telling him that you like his show is like meeting Paul McCartney and being like, dude, loved your work in Wings. And I'm missing the bigger picture here. What else? I live in New York City now. That's neat. Yeah. All right. I thought I was moving there for comedy, but I don't know. The reason why, like, the last thing my friend said to me before I moved to the city was, you're going to fit in there, man. You always have some kind of cool shirt on. You're the cool shirt guy. I was like, really? That's what I'm bringing to the table? Like, what about my jokes? And he's like, oh, yeah. So now I live up there to People Watch. Love it. Saw my favorite person last week. Saw a dude crossing the street in a wheelchair, but he was using his legs. So either I witnessed the worst insurance scammer ever, or I witnessed the slowest miracle of all time. Yes, you will be able to walk again, my son, just gradually and from the ankles up. Oh, what else are we doing here? Last thing I did before I moved to the city, my buddy Steve was like, come over, we'll watch some football, we'll drink some beer, and I'm like, that's a perfect evening, Steve, you're my best friend. I don't need to mention that detail, but I get to his house and he goes, hold on, we need to go to my parents' house because we have to bury an owl. Yeah. So, yeah, so we go to his parents' house and dig this owl hole, and, that sounds like it should be bleeped on TV. But I'm standing there like, we're two grown men trying to think of a eulogy for an owl that got stuck in one of our parents' volleyball nets. And all I could think to say was, well, out of all the owls I've ever buried, you were the first. I'll tell you this, my dad works for Bruce Springsteen. It's not a name drop, it's just what he does. My dad and I were on the boss's boat last week. It's just a perk. But the motor stopped working. So my dad and I are trying to fix the motor, and who should stand up paddleboard his way over to us but the boss himself. My dad's name is Jay. He's like, hey, Jay, what's going on, buddy? And my dad's like, now's not a good time, Bruce. And Bruce just goes, all right, and paddleboards away. And honestly, like if we had floated away at that point and you never heard from us again, that would have just been okay. My dad got away with being rude to Bruce Springsteen on his own boat? That's amazing. If that was my last memory, then I'll take that. All right, you guys were a lot of fun. I'm JC. Thank you.
JC, everyone, whose dad's name is Jay, which makes me wonder if JC stands for J Child. We do junior. Jay, it's actually junior. Most people do junior. But this has been a great evening. Thank you guys so much for coming. Give yourselves a round of applause. Give all the comics a round of applause. Give me more applause. This is all I got. I shouldn't say that because I shouldn't say this is all I got because my girlfriend's sitting right here. Give her a round of applause. We love each other. I don't know for how much longer though, because I make it difficult. I make it hard for her to do that. I mean, first of all, whenever someone agrees to date me, I'm like very suspicious of their motives. I feel like if you're going to date me, it's because you have something to prove to yourself morally. Like one day we're gonna be laying in bed and I'm gonna say, "Oh honey, I don't know what I did to deserve you," and she's gonna say, "Well actually 3 years ago I hit a kid with my car and I've been trying to put good energy out into the universe." I also know how much longer she's going to put up with me because the other day we were hanging out, she had no makeup on and she told me that she felt insecure about that. And I, being the noble idiot I am, was like, "No, you look rustic." Rustic. A word you can use to describe evidently your girlfriend or a caprese salad. Well, you're all wonderful. I think we're going to call it a night. We're going to be doing an open mic after this if you guys want to stick around for a little bonus feature. So yeah, enjoy the food, hang around. I'm Dan Gagliardi. Thanks for coming out to Crust Crumble Pizzeria in Asbury Park. I guess we're done. It wasn't a smooth landing.